Yes, I am back. I am holding in my hand a Pro 1000 cartridge, and in this little baggie, I have some chips. These are not original chips. These are so-called single-use chips that are being sold by certain sellers in this country. They come from China. They are considered sort of borderline illegal to use, but again, Canon at this point is not really too worried about this. They're going after these folks, the compatible cartridge people. So anyway, but let me tell you about these. So originally, when the Pro 1000 came out, nobody knew that chips would not be able to be, say, reset. We were all anxiously waiting for a resetter to appear, but we sort of suspected that wasn't going to be the case because it never came through with the Pro 1. These types of cartridges right here, they do not have a resettable chip. So you have to use a single-use chip. Well, the same thing with the Pro 1000, except for this little bit of detail. They promised to us that they were going to be so-called auto reset chips. Now, if we go back in Canon's history, say the Canon Pro 9000 and the 9000 Mark II, their compatible cartridges or refillable cartridges had auto reset chips. And the way they reset to full was simply if you remove one and put it back in, the chip would go back to full. Well, you had to be very careful because if you did not immediately top off that cartridge and adding ink, if you didn't do that and you accidentally removed one and popped it back in, guess what happens? The chip is back to full and your cartridge is probably almost empty. Again, that's a formula for disaster for your printhead. So the way you were supposed to do it is, systematically remove all the cartridges one by one, top them off, put them back in, and they would reset to full. I wish that had been the case with the Pro 100, but we have to use a resetter. Lucky for us, we're even able to do that. Now, Pro 1000. So I immediately bought some of these. These are not it. These are single use. And I put them on my cartridges and I proceeded to refill them. I was doing it the vacuum method. I had yet to drill that hole for easy refilling. I put them back in. I printed. The chip then went empty and I removed it, topped it off, put it back in. It was still empty. So I quickly realized, oh, my voice is going. I quickly realized these were not auto reset chips. Now, China then came out and said that, it was sort of lost in the translation. They're not auto reset, they are permanent chips. Well, what the heck does that mean? They meant that, and this did not work in the US, that when they reached low, they would remain low. Well, gee whiz, how are we going to know when to top them off if we just wait until nobody told us that. So they reach low, they stay at low. Eventually you will run out of ink if you're not careful. So the idea was to then top them off by whatever method you chose, and they would just remain low constantly. Well, again, that did not work with our chips, the currently available chips. The only way to get around is to buy new ones, $13 every time, and then install a new chip. And as you can see, the little plastic holder is white. The original ones are black. These are the Chinese made ones. Precision Colors still sells them, but they are actually manually welding the chips onto the holders because they have to buy both items from a separate vendor from China. Imagine that. So keep that in mind. If you don't go with these today, what we're using today, that's disabling your chips and using a sensor system or just systematically topping off your cartridges after you weigh them. Remember, empty is 32 grams and full is 112. So if you disable your chip, you no longer have any chip level or ink level reporting on your driver, on your screen, or on the printer screen, then you have to sort of systematically set up a schedule for you to top off all 12 cartridges. And again, you're good to go. But if you choose to use these, remember, they are not auto reset. These are not permanent, as they call them, chips either. They will go red X, and that's it. It provides you with exactly the same condition as an OEM cartridge. Okay, it's just that the coding that was actually entered into those chips, programmed into the chips, it may have been obtained, if you get what I mean, not quite kosher. So they work, but again, it just at least gives you the option of refilling with a lower cost per milliliter ink. I recommend Precision Colors, of course I do. And by the way, right now, it used to be 4 OEM inks because 2 inks, yellow and Chroma Optimizer, did not meet the requirements of Mr. Lee, of course. So he replaced those along with red and blue with OEM. Well, now he found a yellow and he found a Chroma Optimizer that at least meets the requirements, his requirements. And so now you can buy the whole ink set for a lot less because you're no longer paying premium prices for 2 OEM loads of ink. It's 82 milliliters of ink that you get per bottle. So keep that in mind. Refilling is a piece of cake now. Simply drill that hole and add the required amount of ink to get it to weigh 112 grams. Put it back in with a new chip, of course, and you're good to go. The chips allow you to run the cartridge until it's empty. It will give you the red X just like the original OEM chips do, and then you just replace it. If you want to go the route of disabling your chip, then you just basically drill that hole, make it refillable, and then just constantly add ink to them. Keep them above that low condition, which is about 55 grams of total weight. And eventually the chip will throw an error at you on the screen of your printer. 1753, you hit the pause button for 5 seconds. You'll see the words processing on your screen. When that goes away, that chip is now disabled. Just a little bit of warning, you cannot trade those chips with someone else. They will be disabled on your printer, no one else's printer, okay? So that's just part of the game. So at least we can do that and allow us to then, from that point onward, we no longer have to buy chips. We can just run on those disabled chips. All it needs is to identify what color that cartridge is, and it just no longer shows you your levels, and you just got to manually keep them, of course, above empty. That would be very dangerous to do. All right. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And as always, happy printing, everybody. And bye-bye.